Parents of Reddit, what was your "no way is this person dating my child" moment? Someone I went to school with was dating the daughter of some local successful business owner while he was in college. It was apparent that the parents did not like him, but neither him or his girlfriend really gave a crap. And he wasn't really scummy person, he was just a little skinny and awkward. One day he's leaving work, and as he gets into his car, this big dude grabbed the keys from him and closes the door. The father gets in the passenger side of the car and the big dude gets in the backseat. The father was extremely calm and had his checkbook with him. He wrote a check for $5,000 and said for my friend to take the check and never be seen with his daughter again, or even near the property or his businesses. My friend initially refused, but the father said the only other option was to not take the check, and then his friend in the backseat would find other arrangements that would make him really wish that he had taken the check. They then left the car and gave him his keys back. My friend was pretty shaken up by the experience and held onto the check for a few days until he was able to talk to his girlfriend about the situation. She was furious, of course. They then cashed the check and flew out to California and eloped. They were secretly married for 2.5 years before the parents found out. Sadly, the marriage did not last for other reasons, but last I heard, they are still good friends. I'm an older brother. I'm about 13 years older than my little brother, and after my parents died, I basically raised him. He's bisexual, and when he was 16, and in his rebellious phase, he started dating this really douchey guy who I got super bad vibes from. I didn't know until after it was over, but he was very controlling and was constantly trying to pressure my brother into doing things he wasn't really comfortable doing: sex, drinking, smoking, etc. And since I didn't know this was happening, I just figured he would get over this creep and find someone decent later on. I didn't have any evidence that the guy was bad, so I avoided conflict by letting it happen. Yeah, bad idea, obviously. I immediately shut it down when my brother came home with a bruise on his cheek. Apparently the dickhead had hit him after my brother said no to having sex with him. There wasn't an argument between us. He realized that his obviously, boyfriend was a total fucking tool after that. When he was 14, my son caught the attention of the only girl on his hockey team. They started hanging out a bit, and she would dye his hair strange colors, all harmless stuff. Then he found out she was also hanging out with some other guys and got suspended from school for drug/alcohol abuse, so he backed away. Then she drunk dialed him one night at midnight, telling him how much she missed him. He told her that this was not okay and he liked hanging out with her, but not if she was going to be like that. I think her parents had also had enough of her antics, because she spent the following summer at a special hockey camp far away from home and played on an all-girls team the next season. So my son basically handled it himself, but there was no way we were going to let it carry on if he hadn't. My little sister's boyfriend is awful. She just turned 20, but she was a teenager by the age of 6. Her hobbies are makeup, fashion and her hair. She takes hours to get ready to go out. She wears hair extensions every day. She works out. High maintenance is probably the word. Basically she's all about her appearance. Her boyfriend is not. He's overweight and scruffy. He wore sweet pants to Christmas dinner, and he ate so much he fell asleep at the table. I'm pretty sure he owns only one polo shirt, which is his idea of dressed up. He's not intelligent. Together they are the hot wife/slob husband clique you find in sitcoms. However, the worst part is he's 6 years older than her and already has 2 children by 2 different mothers, both of whom look very similar to my sister. I really don't know what she sees in him, but I hope she breaks it off soon. My son is 15 and recently had his first girlfriend. A couple of months ago, I was driving them home from school and asking about their day. The girlfriend started explaining that they were learning about the Holocaust in their WI unit when this exchange took place. Girlfriend, the Holocaust was horrible. It should have never happened to the Jews. It should have happened to the Muslims instead. Me, after a quick break check, what? Girlfriend, it should have happened to the Muslims instead. Me, no. Something like the Holocaust shouldn't have happened to anyone at any time. Girlfriend, I just don't like Muslims. Me, have you ever met one? Girlfriend, no, but I just don't like them. After dropping her off, I had a talk with my son about how the opinions of others should not influence our own. 2 days later he broke up with her because she wanted him to go vegan like her. He loves bacon too much to ever give it up. I was very proud of him. Throwaway. When my youngest sister was 15 she started dating a 20-year-old scumbag. He dealt coke, drove drunk/stoned, got my sister pregnant 3 times. She always had abortions. And my parents just worried silently. Never came down hard on her when she wouldn't come for days, would cut class, would go visit him in hotels when his mother kicked him out, etc. I'm 5 years older, so was at college when this all happening. But when I'd come home on weekends, I'd go looking for her and yell and make a fuss. She, of course, hated me for years and does not want me to tell her teen daughters about him. She finally broke up with him when he totaled my dad's car. It's a wonder he didn't die in that crash. And decades later she tells me she still thinks she could have turned him around and bears him no ill will. Fucker is probably in prison or dead. I'm a parent of teens now. Thankfully I don't see my kids going down that road. But I will not sit idly by, waiting for some stupid teen to finally see the light if my kids make a wrong turn. If you see something, say something. Not a parent, but I on the receiving end of this kind of attitude for a while. Early high school, I met a girl at my church youth group. We made eyes at each other and eventually developed some feelings for each other when we would try to spend some time together outside of youth group. However, her mom would have a fit and do whatever she could to keep us apart. Her mother's main reason to keep us apart was that I was a year older. I believed that at first, so I did my best to convince her that I was responsible and worthy to date her daughter. She was having none of it. The girl was grounded from everything and forbidden to go to the same church, just so she wouldn't see me. I thought maybe she just despised the idea of her daughter dating anybody until I heard her mom tried to set her up with one of the girl's guy friends for a school dance. For whatever reason she was determined to not let me date her daughter. We found out later that her mom was probably just a controlling psycho bitch. A couple years and countless secret exchanges and meetings later, she was finally turning 18. By then, our relationship was very healthy and fairly serious. As soon as she was legally able, she moved out of her mother's house to gain independence and to allow us to be together. We spent as much time together as possible given that I was in college in a different city. Everything was great for a while until she got into some rough stuff with her newfound freedom. She got really deep into the party scene and did a whole myriad of drugs. I still held on, though, until she cheated on me a couple months ago. It's pretty ironic that I was the one that was the unfit one. So there's kind of a funny joke between me and my best friend. She has a 2-year-old son that she jokes is gay as hell. He loves playing with Mama's Macup, and he once made out with his own reflection in a department store full body mirror while her son and I went to get a button-up shirt. She flat out said Weebelsaft, when my son is of age and 16 years, if he is gay after all, you are not to date him. To which I said I can't stand 18-year-olds now. God forbid when I'm 40. A friend of mine had this moment, but not because he was a douche or not good enough. It was the opposite. He started dating that girl, 23 years old, already a 3-year-old son. One day he met her mother for the first time. After dinner, his GF went to the bathroom. The mother sat down on TH couch beside him and said, I know you love her and you would be a great husband, but you should leave her now. She's only dating you because you have a stable job and money. She told me she's off birth control since Tuesday. Be careful. If you don't believe me, tell her you're going back to university. Of course he didn't believe the mother at first, but after about a week he got suspicious, confronted her about the lack of birth control pills. She told him she changed to an implant. Then one day she told him that she wanted another baby before her son turned 5. Note the son just got 3 months before he dated her. Then after a few days he did exactly what the mother told him. He told her we wanted to go back to university to get his PhD. He's an engineer, but she's not the smart kind. She told him it was fine at first, but after a few days, she dumped him for some 20-year-old douchebag, and she really managed to get pregnant and get the second child before the son turned 5. but he really dodged a bullet. Opposite side of this situation. True story. Was a 21-year-old male, met a fun girl at work. We had a large group that would go to the local pub/bar on Fridays. So one day I invited her to go with us all, not realizing she was 20 and therefore illegal in the US. She goes, we have fun. The next week I ask her out for a traditional date of dinner and a movie. Unbeknownst to me, her psycho ex-boyfriend thinks I have stolen her away and tempted her with the evils of booze. He calls her parents and tells them I'm smuggling her into bars. I show up to pick her up, meet her brother, who is going on about being a former coke addict and is in rehab. I tell him I sympathize, having tried it once but not being a fan. He proceeds to run out and announce, see, he tried it and he's fine. After that, the dad dragged me into the garage and told me if I contaminated his baby girl, he'd literally hunt me down and kill me. I didn't want to offend this dinosaur as a black belt, so I just looked him in the eye and said, I respect your daughter because she deserves it, not because you want me to. That seemed to placate him, and off we went to our date. The drama level was so high I never went back and told her at work that life was too short. I'm a parent, but he's only 7. When his mother and I were together though, her parents hated my guts. I was 19 and she was 18. I worked full time at a hotel, but since I was a teenager going on young adult, I didn't care much for it. I still lived with my mom, so I didn't worry too much besides having money to go out and paying my phone bill. I would call out a lot and I eventually go fired. I was in some bad ways, nothing like drugs, but I was just lazy and would rather hang with my girlfriend, bone, get drunk and such. Funny thing was, I was really overweight and she was a perfect 10, great ass, small waist, gorgeous face, the whole package. I guess that was another reason why they didn't want me around her. Anyways, I understood why they didn't want me around her, but she defended me and we kept together despite what her whole family said. She got pregnant, and that's when I went and changed myself. I tried looking for jobs, but I couldn't find anything. The baby came, and I still couldn't get a decent job. Her family finally convinced her to leave me and she did. Those were some real bad times. I had a shitty job, would take the bus every morning at 4:30 am, gained more weight, etc. She ended up marrying some other guy. Even worse times for me. But after about 2 years in total despair, I got my shit together. I started working out, losing weight, getting buff. I landed an awesome job that paid me more than I ever made. I'm still there. Built my credit, bought a car, got my own place, etc. I would go pick my son up from her house or her family's house and they would see how much better I was doing, and that's when they changed their tone with me. They started telling me to get back together with her. They would tell me her marriage was intolerable, that she had deep financial troubles. I would just laugh and say, now you want me to be with her after all the shit you told me? IDK. Haven't told many people that story. Thought you would enjoy it. I guess you can say some people you think are wrong for your child end up being better than you could have ever imagined. My sisters and I are all around the same age, me being the oldest. Sadly they have grown up to be basically whores who like using guys to help them pay their bills and for carefree company. I've seen genuinely well-mannered guys get played by them. These guys know about their game and yet still go into it. The power of beauty and telling sob life stories as a way to woo people. I wouldn't let my sisters go with guys that remind me of them though. It's like they can't smell guys that are manipulative and unable to commit just like them, lol. Those are the ones they look for relationships with. I'm the older sister. My dad doesn't have Reddit. My dad made my brother stop seeing his girlfriend because her house got shot up and her car blown up. She was a super sweet girl with a really nice family. We never found out if they were attacked randomly or if they were somehow gang affiliated or if they were attacked because they were a mixed family. There can be a lot of anger towards mixed families where the father is white and the mother is black around here. Dad was afraid my brother would be caught up in whatever happened. I think it was probably a good idea to break them up, but everyone was sad it happened. When I met my kid's new girlfriend at his brother's football game, she was wearing a halter top and short shorts that showed butt cheeks. Everyone else was wearing jackets because it was chilly. She handed my kid a $20 for spending money. He was 17. She was 21. Then I found out she was a stripper. It was oh hell no. Fortunately, she broke up with him because he wasn't into kinky sex like she was. He told me he was relieved because she was scary in bed and didn't understand why she wanted to do certain things. Bless his heart. Not a parent, but I have been on the receiving end of this. Basically was dating a guy, we were incredibly happy, but when his parents found out that we were dating they told him that they didn't want him dating anyone who was non-Greek. I'm Asian. He didn't listen to them because it wasn't an outcome he wanted, but after a while it became difficult because instead of dealing with the problem, e.g. taking me around his family more so that they could get to know me instead of applying this blanket rule, he just avoided it so he could have the best of both worlds. He was very close to his family, as I understand a lot of people with Greek heritage are. Think my big fat Greek wedding. We broke up 2 weeks ago because his parents consistently told him he couldn't date someone outside of his culture. We still care for each other, but he told me his hands are more tied than I realize when it comes to who he can date. I told him his choice to allow someone decide for him who he can and cannot see is a decision in itself. They seemed like the perfect couple at first. From a good family, dad was an old friend from the army. He was a good looking kid, golden hair, carried himself well. But we began to realize that when things didn't go his way, he'd fly off the handle. He claims he was attacked by our other daughter's dog, and yes, he did have dog bites on his hand, but demanded the dog be put down. Well, his dad carries a lot of weight, and he ordered it. So we had to put down our dog. Later on, I realized that he was not even my buddy's kid, that his wife had been banging, get this, her own brother, and the kid was the product of incest. Probably explained his temper. I put this information out once the dad died, and after I was double crossed, the kid had me executed. 0 tenths, would not let her date him again.